Good afternoon, people. Welcome back. Welcome all to a very, very long overdue video from the Normal One TV with your boy Tony. Where have I been? You've been asking. Well, I haven't been absolutely nowhere, to be honest. It's been a busy few weeks, couple of months, where I haven't reached out to you guys to see how you're all doing, and life kind of gets in the way a little bit. And plus, on top of that, let's face it, the transfer window for us has been absolutely diabolical. Albeit we've had the World Cup in between, so it's kind of, delayed things as far as transfers are concerned. And many of you have obviously watched the World Cup and the final and all that kind of stuff and how we did. And I'm not going to go over the World Cup as a bag of shit, if you ask me. It's probably one of the worst ones I think I've actually had to endure. Although there were a couple of moments in there whereby England did play all right, especially in the first game in the second half. But that was about it. And the format, I like the fact there was more teams and it was regular games. The hours, obviously, and there's nothing you can do about that because it's in a different country, but certainly the hydration breaks. What a load of fucking shit that was. Anyway, I'm digressing here, but I just want to apologise for not being there as regular as I would like. I recently had my birthday and there was a lot of arrangements around that, so I was busy with that. Holidays in between, the kids are here and they're going to be moving out for university, all this stuff, and I've also been having a very good social life and work and whatnot. But that's how it is. We all got our own things to do, and so you just got to go and do it. And I'm not going to apologise for that in that sense. But I do have a little community, and so whilst they've been brilliant and have not sort of at any point sort of bombarded me with saying where's the next video, they've been quite chilled and we've been chatting and whatnot. And like I said, there's been nothing going on in the transfer window apart from one signing. Okay, Xhake's already there and injuries are happening, and we're linked to Diamonde and Barcola and who else, and we are in typical Liverpool fashion, don't really hear much. You hear whispers of things and we just sit and we don't really know what's going on. And it's, we are now 4 weeks away from the season starting, or probably less than that now. And I really wanted us to have all the players that we needed in now so they can go and do the pre-season and whatnot. As it stands right now, there's not enough. But there is a nice little but to this. And before I get into the but of all of this, please like, share, subscribe to the video, hype it, do all that nice stuff. Help me try and get a little bit more traction on this. And I'm small fry in comparison to a lot of YouTube channels out there, and what I do see from a lot of YouTube channels is very samey, isn't it? They all seem to be bantering each other or cussing each other or calling each other out, or they're trying to find different ways of doing things. I'm no different in the sense that, I talk about Liverpool, I talk about my feelings, I talk about what my thinking is, and I share them with you, and I do get some feedback from that. And in between all of that, we've got a new Prime Minister, not to get too political, Andy Burnham, who many of you might know. He was a big advocate for the Justice for the 97 and the Hillsborough Law, which is going to be rubber stamped imminently, which is superb news. It means that it's a duty of candor, which means that people in authority who should have helped and supported and assisted people who didn't get reprimanded for that. So I'm hoping to see the postmasters get whacked, not postmasters, sorry, the chiefs of post office get whacked, and give these families who have been destroyed financially and mentally, and lost families and loved ones, that they get pressed for it. Also, the twats who are responsible for the Hillsborough disaster as well, living or dead, and get full pardon and all this kind of things. So I'm really hoping that really start punching home things that justice is finding itself to people in authority not getting away with it. So that's a real sort of something dear to my heart. So I hope that Burnham is a good PM going forward and starts talking and speaking for the people, which I like to speak to my people, and likewise Big Dunk likes to do for his as well. And I've been having some thoughts and ideas of what I should do, like how to make this kind of different. And I just start to think, well, what's away from Liverpool, what's my other passion? And to be honest, I suppose my other passion really, I won't say passion, but something I enjoy doing is sitting down having a glass of wine. And you might have seen me from time to time, as I'm talking to you, sip on a glass of wine. And it might sound really boring, but I don't know, I'm going to give this a crack. I'm going to probably start a side channel that kind of maybe associates with this, I don't know, but give you my top tips for wines that are under £10, for instance. Because cost of living is bloody high, doing shopping and having little enjoyments out there costs a lot of money. Like going to the cinema and getting popcorn and sweets for your kids is going to be 100 quid before you even start, right? And I'm just thinking, well, I know many of us like to have a little tipple or two. I'm not going to go for anything specific as such. It'll be just something like perhaps I choose 2-3 bottles of wine, maybe predominantly white or pink because of my preference, and maybe a red, actually, because I do like red too, in saying that. And maybe just doing a little sort of snapshot and saying, right, I'll pick this up for £10 and tell you how good it is, or maybe how shit it is. And it can come from Aldi's, it can come from Morrison's, Tesco, Sainsbury's, etc. Maybe you might find that useful. I don't know. But I just want to add another dynamic. And of course, always touching on the fact that, mental health is also important too. And it's important that we find downtime and we find space where we can just relax and we can chill rather than getting caught up in shit from football, shit from politics, or shit from organisations and the authority and all this kind of stuff. And maybe that's where my having a tipple or two is my sort of outlet is kind of associated to all of this. Maybe, I don't know. It might even save you some money. How about that? Instead of paying 15-20 quid for a bottle of wine, which you all can't bloody afford in the first place, that you can pick something up for maybe 6 or 7 quid. I don't know. You tell me. Anyway, this one is about football and the lack of it, let's say. But what has been nice, and this is where my butt comes from, Iriola. I watched the first game, and it's only just one game, by the way. I didn't see last night. It was too late for me to watch it. But what I did see for the first time in a fuck ton of a long time was us playing some direct football. Us playing some forward-thinking football. One-touch football. I saw elements of us passing back. Not much, because I think, the team is still pulling away from the shitness from Slot and his methods. But I saw every time they got a ball, they went forward. Or they turned to go forward. And it was just lovely to see. One-touch football, I saw a lot of that as well. And a little bit more control, I suppose, in the game. Now, we conceded a couple of goals against Sunderland, but Sunderland, to be fair to them, they were playing really direct football. I got to tip my hat off to them. They were interested in was going forward, whether it was in a counter-attack situation or whether they just picked up the ball and ran with it. And they're a little bit more established under their manager and what they do. So they've got a formula and a little bit of an essence of what they're trying to play. And we're at ground zero. We're still trying to find what that kind of looks like and who fits in where, put in the right people in the right positions, etc., etc. But what I did see was some really good stuff. I know we won the game 4-2 in the end with a couple of, good goals in there. But Szoboszlai played in his natural position. I mean, who the fuck could think about that, eh? Took a genius to do that, didn't it? I still hate Slot. But the point is, when you do the basic, simple stuff, good things start to happen. Like shooting on sight, for example, putting the players in the right position, for example, going at goal, making those 1-2 touch passes, making the right pass, and knowing when to run at the player. There was 4 or 5 times I counted whereby we took the ball and we ran with it because he felt there was a right decision to make, rather than this constant sideways passing it back and putting you to sleep shit that we saw with England and we saw with Slot, right? So it was just good to see something different. And there's a lot of work to be done. Don't get me wrong. This is not like, me getting excited and giddy. It was just nice for a change to do something different, and they did. And we played our youngsters, right? I was really impressed with Kumas when he came on. I was really impressed with Neoni when he played. Obviously, Rio, we know he's very direct. Szoboszlai marshalled it really well, and it's looking like he might be vice captain. That's where the thinking is going, right? And Frimpong's still doing Frimpong things, I think. But I'm hoping that Areola would change his game a little bit as well. And now the sort of big hitters come back into the fold, like Isak and McAllister, etc., etc. And I kind of read that it was a bit of a boring game. I don't know. I can't comment. Didn't watch it, but I trust the guys that are sort of telling me this to say it was a bit boring. So. But there's work to be done. And also on top of that, we need to get the players in fast. Like, not fucking tomorrow, today, to now is when we need it. So I'm hoping we start to, that starts to get nailed on. On top of which, you've got, fuckwit Richard Hughes doing what the fuck he's doing. Edwards is gone. And that happened, obviously, when I had my, I suppose, break from doing YouTube a little bit, I guess. Mind you, the break from YouTube was kind of good. I think it's quite healthy. Probably worth doing. It's not about the money. Sometimes it's just about hearing it. Anyway, so yeah, he's gone, which there's no surprise in that, I feel. And it was definitely a prelude to talk of a new set of investors coming in to buy a minority stake into Liverpool, which it seems to scream the fact that these guys want to take over full time at some point or other, and perhaps FSG now are looking to do something like that in the near future. Remains to be seen, but it will be a cash injection of some sort by the looks of it, which would be good. Keeps us steady and ticking along, not riddled in debt like our Manc friends across the road who are, absolutely in the shitter, which is great to see. But we are sort of, putting our ducks in a row, and I've got no problem with that, because I lived through that time where it looked like that we were going into administration and Liverpool was going to be no more, and that feeling will never go away. And I'm pretty much sure it goes the same with you guys, that we were on the brink of extinction, and that's real. That was very, very real until FSG came along, and this is what I can give them credit for. Put us in a position from a commercial perspective, absolutely fine. We've got very tiny little debt that they've got to surface off, but in the main, money's increased, our revenue's increasing, which is great. And the point I'm trying to make here is not about the money itself; it's keeping Liverpool absolutely stable and keep going for the next 100, 200 years, or wherever, way beyond my years, or my living years, I should say, and for the next couple of generations and longer. So I want that to remain. And if it takes money to do so, I will grab all of it. So from that perspective, great. Let's keep us in tip-top shape. Let's keep us competing at that sort of level. And let's not cheat the fucking system, because we haven't. Other teams have. Man City's, the Newcastles, the Chelseas, all these kind of cats. even Nottingham Forest as well. I don't want to be associated with that. I don't want to be that club that has to cheat its way to get to win titles or cups or whatever, or competitions. I want us to do it organically and naturally. And so this is a welcome from me. You tell me what you think. What do you think? Is it a good or a bad idea? And ultimately, if they do come in and they take over at some point, that we go up 2 levels, 3, 4 levels in terms of an owner that has the financial power muscle to keep us where we are, but also to be the top club in the world by getting the right players. Almost have the power that Man City have with the brain of FSG, as in doing it the right way, organically. So, yeah, just that natural, doing things correctly, that's all. Not cheating the system, like these fucking authorities people do, right? That's what I talked about earlier. So, yeah, let's see how that pans out. And it's a conversation for another day, right? Until it starts to get really real, then obviously we'll cover this on my video course. But we are a few weeks away now until the season does kick off, and I can't wait for it. I can't wait to see us play again. And today they released the new white kit. Now, fuck me, or was it yesterday? Heads all over the place. It is a fucking beaut, that jersey, I have to say. I don't know about the red shorts. I think with white it would have worked well. But, I don't buy the shorts anyway, so who gives a shit? Yeah, I am purchasing one of them red jerseys because it is silk. Yeah, absolutely got it absolutely nailed on. Even the home kit, I'm a bit conflicted because it was the first football kit I got back in the 80s, and I loved it. I loved it so much. And looking at it now, it's not quite the same. It's better in certain ways, and then it's crap in certain ways. But I will get one too. Just have to, because it just screams nostalgia for me. And back then, we weren't able to put your names or the numbers on the back. So of course, that has to be done. And I will try and get my ass to Anfield this season too. I'm not entirely sure when. It costs an arm and a leg because I have to go through one of these, you know what I'm talking about. I don't have the facility to kind of get cheaper tickets. It just is what it is. I'll have to go through a back door, so to speak. But I plan to go this season as well, maybe 2, depending, because it's like a holiday. It's just mad the amount of money I've got to spend just to go to Liverpool because I live down south. I could easily go on a holiday abroad, but I love my club, right? So I've got to go see them actually, because I want to see the new manager. I want to see us, evolve and see the ideas coming through, and how our players accept this new way of playing football, etc., and how they adapt and all those nice stuff. So, yeah, there's lots of things happening. As I said, some ideas I got from the channel. Going to see Liverpool. I'm excited to see what it does, and I'm pretty sure you guys are too. But also, I do know that it's been a lot of frustration for all of us in terms of the transfer window. We are crying out for something to happen, and it's very competitive out there, and even the market for buying the right players is really hard. Now it's like, minimum you've got to spend for a decent player these days, or even average, if you like, is nearly 75, 80 million, going to 100. Now, the market is the market. I really couldn't give a shit about how if they cost £300 million to get the player that we want in. I don't care. Firstly, it's not my fucking money. Sorry about that, folks. I paused there because the old wifey walked in, and midway through while I'm recording this. So if you see a little bit of a jolt, don't worry your head too much. It's just experiencing some technical difficulties, as it were. Yeah, she wasn't too nice, suppose. Made me laugh. But anyway, where was I? Where was I going with this? What was I talking about? Yes, value of players. Yeah, it's mad. As I said, I don't really give a shit how much we spend on players, as long as we can afford them and do it the right way. I don't give a shit. I really couldn't care a shit. It's just a case of, if we've got to go and spend through the arse to get a Barcola win because we haven't got a winger, I'd much rather get the play in rather than not having a player at all. Now, appreciate that Cody Gakpo is probably a talking point in terms of his performances. And again, it's a real funny one because when he's shit, he's really fucking shit. When he's good, he's good. And I think Cody is a victim of the Slot era, because under the Klopp era, he was a completely different guy. In fact, I thought he's a good squad player in that sense. And under Klopp, he came on and made a difference. Is he a first start? Is he a starter regularly? I don't think so. I don't think he is at all. But at the same time, I think I trust Iriola to train him to be a regular starter, because in his game is very one-dimensional, in a sense of exactly what he's going to do before he's going to even he knows he's going to do it, right? You can actually write this down a week before what the fuck he's going to do, put a bet on it, and you'll come up trumps. I promise you. So you've got to take that out of his game, and I have seen him playing on the right before. I've seen him playing in central, and I just think if we can get a good couple of established wingers where Cody has to fight for his place, all of a sudden he becomes a different player. And we are in all competitions, right? And it's important that we spread them out in a sense of, right, if it's, say, Barcola, for instance, give him a rest for a cup game, put Gakpo in. Got no issue with that. Got no issue, because he will score goals. He's not like Nunez in the sense where, get him in the barn door sort of thing. He's useful. However, if somebody came in and dropped 80, 90 million on that guy, I'll wrap him up, put a bow on it, stick him in the car, and I'll drive his ass myself. Because he ain't worth that fucking money, that's for damn sure. But it's good money in any case, in which case we can reinvest it again. So this is why I'm a bit mixed about that. So, perhaps maybe the trigger point is the Cody Gakpo thing. Maybe Tottenham might come in and say, listen, here's a few bags for that, and we move them on. At the same time, we'll be able to move players in. Maybe that's what they're looking to do. I don't know. So yeah, really mixed with Cody. Glad that Elliott is back though, because I think there is a place for him in the team for sure. And I think he got done dirty by Slot. Again, another fucking Slotism that he done. I mean, I've lost count how many times that fucker annoyed me. I could write a book on it, and I'm pretty sure one of you guys know how much I hate the fucker on the Telegram chat, as you know, and on my channel, of course. So yeah, I'm glad Elliott's back. Jones is also not under scrutiny in terms of him going, which again, I think we do need a Scouser in the team. Having said that, he's got a lot of work to do, because again, he's another one that needs to improve his game, because he's not into one-touch football. He can hold a ball, but sometimes hold a ball too long for my liking, and fucking loses out. And when he does lose the ball, he's shit at running back. So again, glad that he looks like he's staying too. I don't want, in all fairness, I don't want anybody leaving. I think I just want to add, and I think we're about 6-7 players short of it, if you really ask me. And I'm talking like 4 of them are going to be, first team players. So as far as I'm concerned, if we've got to manoeuvre to kind of get more money and to reinvest to get more players in, okay, fine. But give me 6-7 players, I'm good to go. And I'm considering the injuries to Ekatike. She's not going to be back for a long while, and Leonie's going to be another one. Isak is just coming back, and we're kind of getting our players back in, and injuries was a big issue for us last year as well. And I don't want us to be in a situation where last season. I don't mind if we're playing good football and we manage to finish in the same position, as long as we're playing a better football. At least I can see there's a progression of things going forward. We were just going rapidly backwards last season because of one guy. Simple and straightforward as that. Initially I put it down to the players and their attitude, but actually I could see why they got the developed attitude, because I probably realised how shit he fucking was. And also as well, I've got to mention this. A couple of times I've seen Iriola's interviews, and he's speaking the right fucking language to me now. He talks a good game. He really does talk a good game, and I want to see his words in action now. And I'm seeing little tidbits in the pre-season game that I saw, but certainly he has immersed himself in how we think and feel. He talks about good football. He's talked about putting players in the right positions. He talks about visiting the city. He's talked about understanding. He's talked about, being one of us or trying to become one of us. Because you earn your stripes at Liverpool. You got to do kind of one thing that sets it off, and we've got you're us forever. It was never like that. I can't pinpoint one thing that he said or did on a pitch, I would say, that made me go, yeah, he's Liverpool. He's a Red. He brought us the title, and that's all I've got to say about that. Thank you, but fuck you, because in my mind it was a fallout from Klopp leaving. I was still very much Klopp's team, and it's still he didn't change much in terms of how we played. Tweaked one or two things here, but it was again, it was almost a hint of what he was going to do the next season, which was play shit football. So he put some negativity, put some static stuff that he did and combined it with what Klopp's team was doing, and it worked because we were able to conserve ourselves and whatnot, and it was just a play that pulled us through. And then we got found out in his second season of what he really was like and how disconnected that he was. And God almighty, he was disconnected. And I think that's what we were crying out for is that connect with our manager. All the fan base, the supporters, fans around the world, they want that connection with the manager. And that means, and also the connection with the players. The Holy Trinity. Fuck me, who said that? It definitely wasn't Holy Trinity last season, I can tell you that much. We were all fucking disjointed, divided, and I hate that feeling. So hopefully he's got some real work to do, but from what I've seen so far, there's some real positive steps going forward, and I hope we can start seeing some things start to blossom a little bit, or start to grow, or see little spouts of things that go, yeah, I can see what's happening here. So definitely positive for the future, for sure. And I think that pretty much covers it, and it's one of my long ones actually, because it's been such a long time since I've not spoken to you guys. I mean, Jesus Lord. Yes. Anyway, guys, I think I'm going to leave it there. I mean, tell me what you think. I've covered quite a bit. I've covered things from politics to buying cheap wine to talking about slot, to our new manager, the new investment vehicle, the new players potentially and players out. Again, I've covered quite a bit in half an hour so far. So and that's pretty good for me. I tend to talk about a load of shit generally on these things. But tell me what you think. Give this is my idea of a new channel, for example. Float your boat. I don't know. I'm going to try it anyway, see what happens. I might stick it on one of these short things, because they seem to get a lot of traction, especially with people out there struggling, right? I mean, we all need a bit of fucking outlet, and it costs money to do that shit. It costs more. It costs me. So if it helps somebody, helps one person, then guess what? I've done something fairly decent, at the very least. But yes, guys, look, as always, you've got to look after yourself, keep this fresh, mental health, mental wealth, and all that kind of stuff. Let's not argue about, transfers. That's fucking wank. Let's argue about where we can improve. let's argue about, you know, which player we need to kind of go and get. You know, I just talk about transfers. All I'm saying is, you know, I think I saw something that somebody's really going at it earlier or the last couple of days, and it's not really worth it, is it? You know, Liverpool, we all, you know, you never walk alone. That slogan, do you remember that one? We have our different opinions. Nothing wrong with that. We can have debates on it. No problem with that. Don't need to get personal though. We don't have to turn around and say that person's a complete cockend when he supports Liverpool the same way as we do, because they want Liverpool to win the same way as we do. They've got a different way of thinking how we're going to get there. That's absolutely fine. But you know, let's be a force. Let's be with our brothers and sisters, right? Let's not be that fan base like the Arsenals and Manchester United are named specifically, because they practically want to kill each other. And it's great to watch, by the way. It is great to watch because they talk the biggest amount of shit in the world. And I like to think we don't speak a load of shit. We have opinions on things, and we might have some crazy ideas, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. But let's not be this fan base where we're just infighting, you know, saying they're gonna fucking meet you on the street and punch you up and all this kind of rubbish. Let's not do that. Leave that to the wankers that are Manchester and Arsenal and everybody else in between, but not us. That's not what we're about. We come in force, we come in one. You mess with one, you mess with all of us. That's how it should be, right? And that's why I love this club so much. And it's why I wear that badge, simply because it means that I am not alone, whether it's just me and somebody else or a whole fucking crew or my channel or whatever that looks like, you know. And you can't get on with everybody, that's fair, but we can amicably say, you know what, bro? Yeah, it's not going to work. Do your thing and leave it respectful. That's my word. That's my advice for today. Fuck me, I've covered like fucking all sorts today. Life itself. Yeah, I won't get involved with that. Anywho, guys, listen. It's been great to talk to you. It's been great to be back here. I don't know when I'm going to be put back up again. Maybe I'll make it random, who knows. But I'll try and get back on in the next couple of days if I can. Definitely next week for sure. But I thank you for just tuning in. I thank you for keep supporting me. And, you know, there's been a few more. I'd love more comments. Just keep commenting because I like the opportunity to kind of see them and respond to you guys. And, you know, it's nice that we all, you know, debate and chat and agree and disagree, you know. It's good for all of us. So with that being said, guys, look after each other. But as always, do I need to say it? Yeah, I'm gonna. You never walk alone.